Hi, my name's Charlotte Stone and I'm the creator and founder behind Stone Knits. I knit and I design a lot of Colorwork accessories. In this tutorial, we're going to make a little wristband with some Colorwork on it. Pair of needles, size 2.75 millimeters, 3 different colors that contrast of fingering weight yarn. Choose which one's going to be your main color. We're going to cast on 44 stitches. That should be approximately a little bit less than an arm's length of the yarn. Create a slip knot and pop the knot onto that needle in my right hand. And now I'm going to long tail cast on 44 stitches. So hold the yarns like that in a V and the working yarn above with the forefinger. You take your needle under the yarn and then over the yarn where the forefinger is and let go, and there's your second stitch. Under, over. With these 44 stitches, I'm going to divide them into 2, which is 22, and then I'm going to pull the cable through so I can knit this magic loop method. So I'm going to pinch the cable and pull it through. And then I'm going to push the stitches to the ends of the needles. And move my end out the way and pull this needle out so I can use it to knit them. And place the needle into the first stitch at the top and pull the working yarn up to make my first stitch. Now to make the wristband, I want to have a little bit of ribbing so it's kind of stretchy and will fit snugly on my wrist. So we're going to do a couple of rounds of ribbing, and this is knit 1, purl 1, and I'll show you how to do this. I'm going to use this end here so I know where the beginning of the round is. I've knit the first stitch and then I'll purl 1 stitch. And I'm going to continue this all the way back to the beginning of the round. And knit to the end of the needles, and that's your first round of ribbing. And there we go, we're at the back at the beginning of the round. Now you see there's a bit of a gap there. That's okay, that's going to go as we knit more rounds. But I'll knit the next round of ribbing, and I'm going to pull the working yarn quite tightly to try and close that gap. So knit 1, pull, nice and tightly, purl 1. You see that gap's closed a little bit. And we come to the end of the needle and readjust your needles to knit the rest of the stitches for this round. Put the yarn to the back, and we've completed a couple of rounds of ribbing. And that's the beginning of the wristband. Now I'm going to knit a couple of rounds of just plain knitting with the main colour. Readjust my needles again. Make sure you're knitting with the working yarn, not the end. Easily done. And there we've completed 1 round of main colour, just knitting. Back to the beginning of the round, we know this from our end. It's just a very simple, easy pattern. I'm going to start with red. So we're going to knit red and blue. And we're basically going to knit 1 stitch red, 1 stitch blue, 1 stitch red, 1 stitch blue. Nice and easy all the way round back to the beginning of the round. So I'll show you how I'm going to join my colour, get my stitches into position, and the first one's going to be a red. So I'm just going to take the red yarn and knit the first stitch red, like that. Move your yarn end out the way so it's not in the way of your knitting, like that, and place your contrast colour red down onto your left side and your main colour blue onto your right side, like that. The next stitch is blue, so put down your red yarn and pick up your blue yarn and get the blue yarn to travel over the red yarn, and simply put your blue yarn back down, pick up the red yarn and knit another stitch and put that one down. Again, pick up your blue yarn so it goes over the red yarn and knit 1 more stitch. Nice and slowly, nice and easy. Red, put it down, blue going over. Just make sure your contrast colour is on the left and your main colour is on the right. And knit the stitches quite loosely. No need to pull very tightly at this point. You see on the inside where the floats are, it's nice and stretchy, not pulled too tightly. And we're back at the beginning of the round. Now I'm going to add the second contrast colour, which is green. I'm not going to use the red, I'm just going to use the blue and the green in the next round. So what I'm going to do with the red is just leave it and not knit it and work round without it. So for this round, we're going to knit the first stitch blue, and then we're going to add the green yarn to the second stitch, just like that. And move the yarn end out of the way of your knitting so it doesn't get confusing. And pull the blue one nice and tightly and knit the third stitch blue. And then the next stitch, green. And we're going to knit blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, all the way round for one round. In the other hand, you can do this, pick up the green, drop it, pick up the blue, drop it. Nice and easy. Perfect for beginners. You see the pattern is already emerging. At the last stitches, it's blue and then finishing on that green. And we can now cut the green yarn because we're not going to use that again for our wristband. So get your scissors and leave a little bit of an end so you can sew it in after, and cut. And again, I'm going to pull that yarn end down out of the way of my knitting. So we're going to be back working the red yarn that's still attached and your main colour. And for this round, your first stitch is going to be red. Red first stitch, and your second stitch blue. And then red, put it down, travelling under your main colour blue, which goes over. And keep knitting red and blue, red and blue. You see the pattern? Readjust the needles. These are going to be the last few stitches of the Colorwork. And the last two stitches, red and then blue. Pull the ends down out your way, and there we go. We have a cool Colorwork pattern there. And we can now cut the contrast colour. We're just going to work the end of the wristband all in the main colour. So again, leave enough for you to be able to sew that end in once we've finished. That should be enough. Put your contrast colour away. And now we're just going to knit 2 rounds with the main colour. And then we're going to finish by knitting 2 rounds of ribbing so it matches the bottom of the wristband. You see all the stitches are disappearing and cast off. And on this needle, we have 1 stitch left. So pull the needle through so these stitches are sitting on. We're almost there, almost finished. Okay, and we pull the last stitch over. So we have 1 stitch left, and make that loop bigger and cut the main colour, but enough so you can sew in the end. Pull it through the loop to secure it, like that, nice and tightly. And there you can see we have a little wristband. But what we need to do is to sew in the ends, and this will help the ones here be more even stitches. And it would be good to wash your wristband too to get the stitches to all go even as well. But you can see this goes on your wrist like that, and you can make them in all different colours, whatever you want, whatever clothes you like to wear, whatever combination. It's a cool little wristband. If you'd like to learn more about Colorwork and like to make a beautiful pair of socks in matching colours to your wristband, come and check out my Domestika course on how to make Colorwork socks. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.